Alright students, well, we are going to be doing a photo collage, and you can tell as I've dumped all of these pictures that are going to be included in the collage. There's quite a few of them. They're all quite large, 15.36, basically 15 by 10 each at 300 ppi. So we're going to have to resize them so that they all fit on an 11 by 17 inch page. I would say no bigger than 4 inches tall each, so the height should be a maximum of 4 inches. So we're going to do what's called a batch resize, and that's processing multiple files all at once to make it easy for us. So we process multiple files. Instead of processing these from a folder location, we are going to process ones that are already open. The destination, if we browse and locate them on for students, and let me make out here, and media art. So we are in media art out and photo collage. Now we don't need to rename it. I don't care what they're named, and we do need to resize them. Click the box. The height, I said we should restrict to 4 inches or so. And I'm just going to leave that width open to let it resize just to the height, and we won't bother about the width. And we need to make sure it's at 300 because we're going to print it eventually. And we don't need to convert them. They're already JPEGs ready to go. And let's press OK. So it will resize it and then close each of them. So this might take some time. And hopefully the computer won't crash. So now that all of the pictures are resized and the whole thing closed up, I should note that that took like 20 minutes to do because of the size of file that I was working with, and it almost crashed the computer, but not quite. You open them back up, and maybe to begin with, we'll make the file that they are going into. New blank file, and we're going to make the width 17 because we want a horizontal format. Landscape, 11 inches by 17. That's a typical poster size that we can print on cheaply. So press OK. So this is going to be what we'll call our photo collage. So Mr. Dash photo collage, and we'll save it in the for students. I'll save it so it's available for you guys in the out folder. You'll be saving it onto your USB drive. Photo collage. Okay, so once that's ready, open up those. Whoa, that's weird. Maybe it didn't fully convert that right. Anyway, so this all is probably quickest to open them by just dragging and dropping them to the project bin. And now you'll see that they are all 6x4 and 300 each. Once the computer finishes opening up all my source material, all the raw photography that's going to get combined into the image, I can start dragging them one by one into the document that in which they're going to sit. So let's start with this one. Using the move tool again, drag and drop into the space that it's supposed to go into. And I'll sort out where they go once I get them all in. Oops. Wrong one. I'll zoom ahead here. So I spared you the time. These pictures are all in here, and now we are going to rearrange them so that they, it's kind of where they belong. This one looks similar to that one. Maybe I doubled that one up. Let me delete that layer. This one I'll have to invert. I don't know what happened there. There are two ways to invert. One is to press, choose the layer that you'd like to have inverted or made opposite. The black becomes white and the white becomes black. Press Control I. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it would be if you want to get various steps of inversion, you can adjust lighting and go to levels and reverse the output levels. So whatever is supposed to come out as black, you make it white, and whatever is supposed to come out as white, you make black. So that does the same thing. So we get these in their whatever spot we feel like they need to be in. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes what angle you've done, but suffice to say, what you're aiming for is to rearrange these into like an attractive kind of pattern. I know that I started at the bottom wall, so these ones that show bottom wall space are going to be the ones that are at the bottom. Sorry, they show the top of the wall. This one is kind of over here. And I'm going to need to shrink these in order to make them all happy. Because all of them need to get resized, I'm going to just do them all at once. When you want to select more than one thing on a computer, generally you click on the first thing and shift click on the last thing that you want to modify or select, and then they can be all selected together. It selects automatically the stages in between them. So resize from a corner, and as long as it's not too small, you can resize them back up to fill up that white space that you leave if you need to. So just clicking off of all of them and getting this roof back for me. I'm going to try and determine what the real best arrangement for these things is going to be. This is where the creativity comes in. But I think you now know the essentials of how this thing gets created, and you can create a pretty cool pattern out of what's there. Some things that you'll want to be aware of is the idea of the grid. So where the bottom of pictures match up, those appear like they're aligned on a grid, and you're going to want to be careful of that kind of communication. If you want to have something, if you want to have one row lined up, you should line all the other rows up too. Otherwise, it's going to appear like a mistake that those are lined up, or it's going to draw undue attention to that area of your picture. So feel free, guys, to get creative. Place things. Watch out for where lines hit each other. It's interesting to let various angles interplay. Feel free to use the polygonal lasso tool to cut important areas out of a picture. So if I wanted to get rid of this section in that photograph, I can make a cut area out of that and include it in one of the other spots on my, like maybe I want to have the angle of this wall match up in an interesting way with the angle of that. So there's various things you can do, but be conscious of how those lines are interacting and how the balance of tone plays out. One tip you should know about as you arrange your photographs is using the move tool, is just positioning stuff. It tends to snap to common lines, and you can turn snap off by saying don't snap to guides or to various other parts of the grid. This can be moved, and if you're finding trouble, like it's kind of snapping to it and you can't just get this gray line to match up with this gray line, you might need to use the keyboard So the arrows on the keyboard, if you're using the move tool, can be applied and pressed as needed. So up arrow, down arrow, and that could get you more specific movements. If you want to have various elements from one picture match up with the other, like the heater system here, um, but have also other features of it line up, such as the lights here, there is one thing you can do. You can hold down Control and watch what happens to the cursor over this corner. It turns into this kind of this 50% gray kind of cursor, and if you drag that, it just lets you move that corner. The other three stay stable. So just be careful, as it's very clear that a distortion is occurring, and if you wanted this light to be the thing that kind of carries on from this picture to this picture, you can make that work. And that's again by holding down Control on a corner and adjusting that corner however you want. If you wanted to hold Control on a middle point, it kind of just skews it, so it moves both corners, and that could be an option to help you be creative too. Don't forget to move layers around and sit them behind one another to see if you like them better in that new location. So layer 12, I want to have click and drag on it and set it in between layers 7 and 8, let's say, and see if that's far enough. I think I might want to have that a little farther. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's interesting to me, the angularness of it. I think this is a little overwhelming, but maybe I can do something else later to fix that. So you can see that the look that I've gone for so far is kind of angular and jagged, even distorting photographs so that they look like they're kind of even going back into the distance, which I don't know, that might be useful in some certain circumstances, other times no. But to just look at what I've done so far, I'm going to crop in later so that it's a clear line all the way around, and I'm going to kind of cut off some of the stuff that isn't going to be useful to me in terms of getting that crisp frame. If this is looking too dark, I can lighten that up by going to enhance it. So enhance, adjust lighting, and levels. This is just one of the many ways to do it, but this shows you how many black pixels there are and how they're reading. So by moving the blackest black to this point, all of these pixels now become on the side of blackest black. Same with all that. All of this all of a sudden has become as black as you can get. To lighten it up, you would move this white slider over so that the lightest point is any pixel that was over here that was light is now, instead of being almost white, definitely white. All of that's pure white. So generally you want to touch it up a bit usually people drop it to like bring the black up a bit and the white down a bit. But this is the real measure of the tone of something, the tonal values in the middle, in between white and black. So I'd like to bring that up so that it's less, I don't know, dingy, and press OK. And I'm going to do the same thing for this layer just so that it feels, I don't know, more pleasant, more harmonious with the other tones that are involved in the piece. And I'm content with that. So I'm going to select all the layers again now and enlarge them, Control minus to zoom out a few times, enlarge them so that they fit on this 11 by 17 piece of paper. And I think I'm losing a bit too much of this stuff that I liked over there, so anyway, you get the idea. Press the green check mark to solidify your piece of art, and there you go. Save it. Save as. Make sure it's named properly. Keep this extension sacred. Don't touch it. And you're going to save into the in folder. Media art in Photocollage. Hope you enjoyed.